important. Are we doing anything with that, Mr. Hogeman?
Yeah, so I've been running development in all the time. I'm not talking to you guys to get the second generation of NFTs available to you guys. So what it'll be is an event much like the first one, where there will be 48 hours in which you can go upload a picture. It will put that picture into a template, just like the trading card template before. It'll be a different one. You can add some text, and then it will generate an NFT that will be delivered to your wallet. So yeah, we're going to call this round the expansion, because obviously Hoj is expanded, and it will be available to everyone who had a wallet before the big one listing. So it's still a reward for early holders.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And there's a catch there, right? With this one, just gas fees. Everything else is covered.
And
yes. So the catch is that you got to pay your own gas fees this time, because it's extraordinarily expensive for me to cover many thousands of NFTs. But if you do it, and presumably you guys were just talking about Ethereum gas fees, but presumably if that goes down to like, 100 Gwei or 80 Gwei, then it will not be too bad. It'd be like $50-$60.
Cool. Awesome.
Just
and
on top of that, Rocco, I'm just trying to kind of make sense of the Hoj Nation and see how we can sort of spur some activity in that Medium forum. And so there was one person, I think the Rev1 Hoj, he had posted at some point, and it had to do with NFTs. It had to do with possible partnerships. And so I don't know if anybody's seen it or read it, but I think he has a pretty cool question on whether or not well, if he's in the room, that he could probably ask it, but it has something to do with Ecomi, Vivi, and some other stuff that I don't really know that much about. So just saying that's there.
Yeah. So there's definitely some partnerships in the future. Wasso, myself, and Weiser have been working on some stuff. Our core teams have been working on some stuff. The cool thing about what we're doing is people really like it. People are really interested in it. Everybody hears NFT. They know the new feature of cryptocurrency. Right, that's a new thing. Everybody wants to be on board, and we're really cutting edge in the fact that not a lot of other people are doing what we're doing. And so, luckily, we had the foresight of Hojman to just be like one day, like, hey, let's just build this and just do it. I mean, I wish I had that skill set, but I don't. Sadly, I do not. But we're definitely fortunate to have his skills in this arena, and he's been really good about just the transparency, building it, how he's building it, and just the different phases and what to expect from each phase. I think there's 5 phases. Is that right, Hojman?
Yeah, I was planning on 5. I think 5 would be fun. Where the 5th one is when we finally get to America. Alongside this, I'm also working on a community NFT mint. So this would be available to everyone at any time, where you could go. It would be like we wouldn't call it, a specific generation 1, generation 2. It would be just the Hoj community mint. So if you made your NFT there, it would go into some gallery, which I think Durandal and Hoj Historian are going to be working on. So it'd be like a digital museum almost. And so you make your NFT, it goes into the digital gallery, and you can then sell it on OpenSea. And it has a nice community vibe to it. So it gets hosted somewhere cool and next to all of these other pieces of art. And at the same time, we can add in a few measures to help deal with the, NFT scam situation that scared a lot of people. So there are some, larger impacting articles about how artists are having their work stolen and people are making NFTs and selling them like the Mona Lisa or whatever. It's not like anyone can grant the rights to the Mona Lisa. So the way you can get around that is you can generate a public-private key. You can have the artist sign the NFT with the private key and include it as part of the NFT. And that way you can post the artist's public key in the gallery next to their art, and you can verify that, yes, you have the first one and the only one that's been signed. So now you can allay some of the scam concerns. And I think that helps grow Hoj in a more, verifiable way. Or at least it solves a problem that other people are having.
Yeah, I mean, the foresight to be able to do this is amazing. And this is going to play a much bigger role, I think, in the future when we start selling it in maybe galleries, or maybe if we're selling it from person to person, or just maybe a shop or something, which would be really cool. We do have our CFO here as well. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I heard about a 2-minute clip of just some of her experiences, probably about a week ago, and it just blew my mind. Andrea, if you want to, well,
It blew your
you have,
mind because it's 2 o'clock in the morning for me, so I'm yet again here. Not as sleepy as last time. Last time I jumped out of bed actually to reply to one of the questions about other coins. Hi everyone, hope you're doing all right. And excited about what you've heard about the NFTs. I mean, I'm definitely excited about this project. I want to see also some funding coming towards what we want to work, all of us here. Otherwise, I don't know why I would be called a CFO. I am not managing funds at the moment, but I would like to be able to do so that we can develop our projects. And it would be good if in the period to come, once we sort out the legal entity, which is actually not far away from being finalized, I would say that at the end of this week, we should be ready. That would allow us to enter into agreements with merchandising stores, with other partners that would bring us more exposure, and also some of the income that we need to keep this project rolling. It's a tremendous work behind, and I hope that the community sees this work behind. Maybe it's not always spoken about because it's so much, as I said, and we don't take the time to speak to everyone. But it has been a tremendous work to do everything from the NFT. I mean, the NFT platform. Our dream was to have an NFT to have a merchandising platform, but that the cost for that is quite high, and we will have to look at that at a later stage. But the work that it's being done is for the benefit of everyone. So it would be nice for everyone to be involved and come up with their ideas and make them happen, because we cannot do just 10, 20, 30 people. We have to be all of us doing that. And I hope that people listen and join. There will be a form out that to put out for people that have time to offer from their time at this stage in volunteering to contribute and help the teams that are now in place make things grow. We can only grow together. So this is something that I hope that is going to be retained. I mean, people want to hear next exchange and next thing happening. We have to make these things happen together. So you have to share your ideas, make sure they get where they should get, come with initiatives so we can work together on them. The legal entity that we are creating has the ability of forming committees that will work on certain projects. So people will be members of those committees, and they will be able to work on the project that they choose to make happen. So this is the meaning of a community project. And I really hope that it's going to be a common effort and not to put everything on the shoulders of Hodgman, because to be fair, he carries quite a lot. I'm sure there are other people in the team, and there's also Jay Rocco that does a lot of the stuff. But if he can get also some help from the community and people come forward helping from their own time, this is very important for us. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer to any questions that you may have.
well, there's one.
Yes.
My favorite, the one you gave the other day, is Hoj a scam?
Sorry, what is that? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
The other day you were in chat and you had answered the question, is Hoj a scam? Can you tell us why it's not, from your opinion?
It is not a scam. That could have been at the beginning. There were some issues, but Hoj now is a project, is a startup project. That's what people need to remember. A startup. No Lambo in sight in 3 days. No Lambo in a week. That's not how startups work. It's a startup that has a team of very professional people putting together, creating this project, putting out the lines, the sketching of this project, the feeling of this project has to be done by the community. There's a legal entity that is being created. Yes, it takes time. If lawyers would work in the way I wanted them to work, this would have been done a lot earlier, but they don't. They take the time to make sure that it's done in the best way to serve the community. If we want to get on big exchanges, we have to do KYC of people working. We have to secure our position very well. So yes, there is a lot of work. So there is no scam in that when you want to do a legal entity. Plus, you will be able to see the team. You will be able to see the people working, and we will have to give our names. I just hope that I'm not going to get my LinkedIn spammed. That would be very helpful to not have that, but I will be happy to answer to questions if there will be. There is a CERTIC audit that's going to come soon enough. There are many projects lined up, and these projects make of Hoj not a scam. It's a serious project that has to grow, and patience and input are the most important thing that we have to understand. So I hope that I've explained a little bit why it's
Yeah.
not a scam.
If you can follow up, what is your experience in finance? Like, why should anyone care about what you say about finance?
I've been involved for the past 16 years in running an accounting practice and a business management company with a direction in wealth management. So I have international clients that set up companies all over the world. I am director on the board of some companies that are quite high profile in UK, and I think I'm pretty sure I don't have experience in crypto, but I can understand a project and I can understand when there is a serious project inside. Otherwise, I would have not joined Hoj. Yes, I invested Hoj initially, but that didn't mean I had to join and contribute with my time, and now has become most of my time at this stage because I want to see this succeed. I will not enter into a project if I do not make sure that I can contribute to its success, or if I don't see that has a good chance of success. I am not interested. I better spend the time in building this company that the other company that I have and that I started 15 years ago with other people, and which is small. It's not a large company, but it has been successful enough, and it has been built by reputation. People know that if they come to us, they will get a good service. So I would like to bring the same values here in Hoj, that we are trustworthy and we work hard and we work together and we succeed. These are my principles. And be moral. I didn't come here to get a salary paid by Hoj or anything like that. No, it's volunteer work, and it's going to be volunteer until this project is able to support from myself from the coins I have, for instance. My aim is to succeed together, and I like it for the project itself, for the endless possibilities that we have to create something together. Because if we think we can we have this whole university, it's waiting to happen. We can do so many things on that. The educational side in crypto is an amazing opportunity to teach people a lot. We may assume they know, but I don't know anything almost about cryptocurrency. I know a little bit more now after this time, but I didn't know anything. But people need education, and we can do that. And so people need to come up front and help on that if they want. So I can't tell you more than what I do, apart from the fact that, as I said, my experience is what brings me forward to that in the work that I do, and I believe I have a good reputation. So
Absolutely. So it's fair to say that if Hoj were a scam, it could actually have repercussions on your normal day-to-day job that you have
It
now?
would affect me majorly. That is the reality. So if there was anything like that, it would affect what I do. Because in wealth management and with the position that it means that um, we are money laundering regulated. I am a money laundering officer. That means I have to report anything that is could be connected to money laundering. This project and the people that want to come in this project forward, to step forward and help, they will have to be vetted as well, so that we have a professional team and people that have no past issues to be actually members and contribute in this project. I know, and I have clients that are already involved in Hoj. They keep asking me they should invest more. I keep telling them, yes, you should invest. It's a very good project. You should buy coins. This is what investing is: buy coins. And I think we can do great things together. So they are waiting also for the legal entity to be part of these committees that can work projects together, that we can work projects together. I wouldn't have brought any of these clients in, and I wouldn't have been able to tell them, because in the end, I leave from the other job that I have if I believed that this was a scam. So I hope that people actually take this term out of the sentence, and it's not brought in. It cannot be brought up again. It's not right. I think we passed the stage of a scam or not a scam. We should move on to the stage. Let's do more things together as a community. Let's make this project succeed. Let it grow as much as it can grow, because it is endless. So excitement should exist to create together.
Yeah, that's really good. You know, I have to tell everybody when I'm talking to them that I'm not a financial advisor, and here you are saying I'm a financial advisor. Buy more Hoj. So that's awesome.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I believe that this is a project that has a great chance of success. It has the setup, the building, the people that can make this happen.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Does anyone have any questions for her at all?
Hey,
Yeah.
got a couple questions. So, I know we are a community project, so and the fact that we don't have that wallet. So, as a CFO, I guess it's probably a question directed to Andrea. How do you go about, or where your plans are in raising capital to fund these projects, or is it going to be mostly based on donations? Because we saw the biggest billboard donation that took an awful long time for fairly small amount of money. But if we were to do something like a larger project development, that would, I just don't see as feasible. So, what are your ways and methods in raising that capital?
One of the points that one of the lines of getting funds would be from our agreements with the merchandise stores. This is one line of getting income in. A second line of income would be from the NFT minting and from NFT sales. If we can get to that stage and get a percentage from those sales, this is what needs to happen. And then we can look to have donations from even companies that would like to drive some projects, to put some projects together. But it's a non-profit association. We cannot not have investors in a traditional company way and come in with a VC to invest money and to expect a return on their investment. This is not what we are doing. We are doing a non-profit association. So yes, in an ideal world, the community, if there are projects that that can be supported, they should support. That will make the price of the coin go up. I mean, it's one thing to have a coin that is it values little and can value less if we do not contribute. And it's another thing to have donations and support of the community to grow this project and the value of the coin. Every listing costs a lot of money. Every single thing that we are doing costs money. And I am concerned that there are people in the team that I would like them to get paid and leave their jobs that they are doing currently, because they are vital to this project. And I would like the community to see that you cannot have a project that grows without people that are dedicated 100%. Everyone now takes from their own time, and it's a great thing, but long term we need to be able to fund these people being employed. And the first stream of income would be from our deals with merchant stores and for the other use cases that we can create, and from donations. And we will have to figure out as a community, once we create these committees, the input of everyone, how we can create income for us. At the end of the year, this income will be donated to whichever charities we choose together, but we have to be able to finance this project. A lot of the money that was needed at the initial stages and even now has been put up by a lot of the members in the management team. So we come up with whatever money is needed. Okay, we need to top up this listing, we need to top up this. So it comes from our wallets, and it's absolutely fine. And this is the way to make a project move on. But in the next days, you'll probably hear from us that we will have a PR company lined up, because we need massive deployment of PR and marketing to go mainstream. And that would, we don't yet have the offer to be able to come to you, but we will come to you and we say, this is the offer. Do we go with it? Do you support marketing in PR? We will be able to go in this magazine, in this newspaper. Do we want to be seen there? We will come to you, and then we will see what support this project gets in that way, because donation will remain a main part of our financing.
Thanks for answering that question. Is there another question?
Yeah, thank you for that answer. I was just, becoming a little concerned since that it took an awful long time to raise money, and I guess really there are no better ways since there is a community project, and I appreciate all of your management members raising capital out of their own pocket. And I don't think it's fair for anyone having to do that, especially you already are working without a pay. So if there's any pay structure or anything that needs figured out. And also, I guess a follow-up question more on the tech side, is there any way we're able to edit the contract in any way to set aside a fund for the staff, whether that is for salary in the future or some sort of funding for PR and marketing? Because I think that's what a lot of people are complaining. I myself is concerned as well that is somewhat lacking recently.
I've never even seen you before, Cyrus. I'm sorry. I'm not complaining, by the way.
So to your question, budget, we had planned to take some of the money merchandising for marketing, but organically our community does market well. It's not the best asset is the community. You guys don't do. That's the best thing we can. Ray, can you put your, there we go. Thank you. So when y'all go out and you guys make a post, for instance, this competition we had with the 25 million hosts, do y'all realize how many impressions we got? Do you realize who saw your posts? We had Barstool Sports posting about us. We had Scotty Steyer posting about us. We had all these people posting about us because of you guys. It wasn't nothing we did. It was your post. It was your activity. It was your articles online. That's what's getting attention. Even Dave, Dave's here in chat. He didn't come here because of me. I mean, he could probably care less about me, but he came here because of the community. If you talk to him for any longer than 10 seconds, he's a crypto guy. He just wants crypto to work. And so the fact that you guys got his attention is amazing. And so the best marketing we have, the best tool we have is you guys. And as long as you guys are working and doing it and pumping up people about it, that's the best we can ever ask for.
David G.
There you go. Any other questions?
I just had a question about
Oh yeah, you go.
just about the second generation of the NFT minting. That doesn't include like people on a centralized exchange. Am I correct? Is there any limitations with that?
Yep, that's correct. You have to have your Hoj in a DeFi wallet, MetaMask, Coinbase wallet, Trust wallet, Ledger Nano, Ledger S, something like that.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Yo,
Okay,
what's
Joe?
up, Crypto Camel? I ain't spoken to you in ages. What's popping, my dude?
Okay, Joe, what about your question, buddy? No?
Sorry,
No?
I'm here at a coffee shop, so sorry about the background noise. Now I wanted to ask two things. One about the NFT printing, or minting rather, because I wanted to make some Doge NFTs. So do you think it's worth putting it up on OpenSea, or should I hold up until you guys have something going and I can mint it on, I don't know what chain you're going to use. I assume this Ethereum smart chain, right? So and the other thing is, we all want the bull market to last forever and be a golden bull run or whatever. But let's say worst case scenario, the bull market ends tomorrow. Do you still see Hoj as being like a good project and something that you'd want to put a lot of time and development into in the future, even considering if the market in general takes a downturn?
Absolutely. Do you want to answer the first one, Hood, and then second?
Yeah, sorry for the echo there. Yeah, so if you want to make some Hoj NFTs, what really gives them like the ambiance or the scarcity is using the Hoj smart contract, the thing that's supported by the community as a whole. Anybody can go to Rarible and like print their favorite GIF. Anybody can go to OpenSea and pay the fees and make their favorite picture as an OpenSea, or you could do it even on the XI chain. It would cost you fractions of a dollar, but that's not what makes them cool. That's not what makes them exciting. What makes them exciting is shared experience. And the Hoj community is getting a lot of shared experience today. So, things that have like cool historical moments that are turned into memes, or the really cool artwork that comes by that only a couple of people see but is super awesome. Those are the kinds of things that you want to take a moment and think, if I would put this on my wall because it is special to me or it is special to the group of us, then that's what makes it scarce and exciting. And those are the kinds of NFTs I'm working to create. Do you think so? I'll follow up with I think Hoj is worth working on? Well, absolutely. I spend 8 to 10 hours a day, sometimes more, working on this because I think it's cool. I'm not in this to make money. I was yelling at Andrea earlier because we were talking and I was like, yeah, I know Safe Moon is up. Freaking every coin is up. I don't care. Like, I'm not here to make the money. I'm here to drag the entire community up to 1 cent because that is my goal. It's really just to make sure everybody else gets there as well. I could have made 6 scam coins by now. I could have made 20 on the BSC blockchain. That's not the point. The point is to generate actual value and to go through the experiment of, can you bootstrap this economy in a decentralized finance structure? And that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I think it's got value, even if the bull market ends and Bitcoin crashes back down to 13 or 5K. It doesn't matter to me. I'll still be here doing it. You want to follow up on that, Rocco?
Well, sorry, yeah, you go. Sorry.
Yeah, so is this. Most of us had the opportunity to sell out when it hit the all-time high, right? I had the opportunity to sell for more money than I've ever held in my life. But I didn't. I bought at the all-time high. I bought when it dipped from the all-time high. I bought back when it was at 0.0001 last week or a week before. And the reason why is it's a great project. We're 11 weeks in the project. We have some of the best volunteers we could possibly ask for. We have everything from like doctors to just financial wealth people to some of the best engineers. We have an aeronautical engineer on our dev team. Just crazy stuff, crazy skill levels, things that I would never imagine for a project like this. And so it's amazing the team that we have. And I'm willing to bet my entire load of Hoj, in fact, all my crypto is in Hoj. It's probably not the best advice ever. I'm not a financial advisor, unlike others. But all my assets are in Hoj. And I am all in. And it's just a great program for me. I think we're going to do some really good things in the future. But yeah, go ahead, Joe. What's your other question?
No, I was just going to say when you talked about Bitcoin going back to 13 or 5K, I was like, don't do that. Don't give me hope. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's really great. I also wanted to mention because I was thinking of getting into. It feels like I always miss these things. But like Safe Moon, I was looking at it and I thought, probably not the time to buy now. But it is also an exciting project. But I was on the Telegram chat for Safe Moon, and I see a lot of Hoj stickers. So it's definitely a getting more and more recognition. Even in the sort of thing that's being touted as the recent like, oh, keep your money safe from the Bitcoin dip in SafeMoon, even though SafeMoon is tanking right now. We'll see.
There's only two projects that came out of this winter that matter, and that's Hoj and SafeMoon. And so everybody's watching them closely to see what happens. We broke the rule book for how to launch the meme coin. And so now we're just exploring the next steps. I gotta go be with my wife. You guys have fun.
You have fun.
True hero right there. So is there any other questions?
Stay good, Hoj man.
Hey, Wisers. For those that don't
Hey,
know,
decided to
Wisers
stop in and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. Presto, go ahead, buddy. No, that absolutely makes sense to me. And Wiser, you probably better explain the whole centralized wallets versus decentralized.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was actually just texting someone else. But I think I heard the question is what happens if you are holding in a Whitebit wallet in terms of the redistribution? Is that what you're asking?
That's
So that wallet, so traditionally when you're in an exchange, now there are some exchanges who do this differently, so this is not like a blanket statement, but traditionally when you're in exchange, you're not actually oftentimes holding your own wallet. What you're holding is like a ledger against their wallet. So they have one larger wallet in which you can trade in and out of. And that's why that the tokenomics don't always happen inside of an exchange. But in terms of being able to be accessible from Etherscan, from Etherscan will be looking at the larger wallet. So like if you look on our top wallets right now, you'll see Whitebit is one of them, and you can go and you can see their massive wallet. Now you're saying, okay, well, what are they doing with this wallet? And that everyone is technically trading inside of that wallet. On Robinhood, well, Robinhood's a weird. I can't speak to Robinhood very well, but from what I've heard, they have some interesting terms of service where like you don't actually own anything when you're buying through Robinhood. But yeah, it would be. I think Robinhood maybe has some even stricter terms of service. But yeah, it would be analogous to that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you also have the antithesis of that, which is us missing out numbers on holders, because what about someone on big one, which maybe about someone on big one who only has a wallet in big one and does not hold anything in on the blockchain. So therefore it would just look like one wallet, even though big one may have 500 people in their wallet. That's a very listen, I get probably 4 to 5 times per day people DMing me asking when's the US exchange. I gotta say that was one of the most creative ways I've heard of someone asking when's the US exchange. I can't say exactly when the US exchange is. I can promise you we are currently in talks. We are working towards it. I can promise you also that it is not possible to get on a U.S. exchange without a certificate and articles of incorporation. That's not any private info. You can find that out online very easily. You cannot get onto U.S. exchange without those two things specifically. Most specifically, again, I don't want to get into the boring details, but KYC documents, articles of incorporation, and audits are going to be very important to getting onto any US exchange. Now, if you look, I mean, we are moving in that right direction, which allows us to open up those conversations. I will say, if I will say, if we meet your timeline, if we meet that your timeline in terms of 2/5, I would be upset, but that's all I'll really say.
I'll jump in on that one actually, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like the line of thought with you, man. You just take it from like outer space and bring it in. It is really cool. You are smart as hell. We really shouldn't be commenting on this stuff. You if you'll do it back for me, I will. uh we're prodding at some things that we can only be so transparent, and the last thing we want to do is inadvertently damage ourselves. I feel like, we've seen it a few times. We have really great positive traction, and then we accidentally have a slip of some kind, or whatever it may be, and it feels like we just sort of trip, and then it's a rush to catch up. You are smart. I would say right now, Hoj is really focused on the foundation. The core team is really we've spoken about audits, and I feel like maybe it wasn't received the right way, probably because we didn't teach the community properly yet. Those audits are pretty fundamental, and I think David is still here. I did DM you. I promised you at one point I would dox myself on Twitter to you. I think maybe this could be a good time. If you're ready, I DM'd you, Recon Line 1. You let me know. we can take another step in the right direction, the right way, right? Does that sound okay?
With it.
David G.
And Presta, dude, if you want to DM me, you want to do some learning development stuff with me, I think we could do some good stuff for the community.
NDA, buddy.
Oh, no comment.
NDA.
Very cool. So is there another question out there?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, just in terms of financing the core team and the project, is there any way that, you know, part of the transaction tax, if you wanted to call it, could we use a percentage of that to finance the project?
Technically, yes, but from what I understand, that would require an altering of the smart contract. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. And we are, because we haven't done this from the beginning, and because this is a community project, this is something that we oppose as an idea. It would be against our principles.
Absolutely agree.
It's not what we want. We want to come out to you as a community and say, this is what we would need to do this, and see where you can come. You are welcome to give larger donations towards specific projects, and we hope that via the merchandising stores, via the NFTs, to create income to support also the needs of some part of the team as it's necessary. And yes, we have a donation wallet for the devs, and we can ask a donation in there, but we will not redirect from redistribution that has already been created towards ourselves. It's not something that we have done from the beginning. I know that there are other projects, quite a lot of them, that function in this way, and the percentage goes towards the team. And we have spoken about it, and it was never agreed that this would be a line that we take. It would be useful, correct, but it's not on our principles. And I think it's a fair approach. I mean, if you believe otherwise, yes, you are absolutely free to indicate in the community, but we will not. We believe that is not. It's not a healthy way to go on this project. We do not have wallets for that. We will have for specific projects. We have a donation wallet for the devs. We sometimes ask the community for this help, but we hope to create utility, and that's where the hard work is, so that the projects that we have and the partnerships that we have to bring in income, and for you not to feel the burden, but to actually collect a lot of the benefits of working together rather than feel the burden of supporting this project. This is an aim. It may be difficult, but this is our aim.
So, quick question for you guys. I apologize if I'm cutting in, but I had a thought about this with the 1% burn. Have you got? And I'm curious to get your opinion and like thought process on this, but kind of make like a Hoj debit card or a credit card with like the rewards points that include that 1% like redistribution. Just want to kind of hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that might be a feature, way in the future thing. I mean, you're talking about needing a bunch of capital and partnerships with like Visa or these other companies that would be able to back that. That's nothing we could do, at least foreseeable year, 2, 3, 4 years. It's quite the ask, for sure. So I guess most of y'all may not know Weiser. Weiser works under F with Wasso. He's a killer partner to the team. Weiser, do you care to tell everybody a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. My background is pretty similar to a lot of actually what you'll see in terms of the dev team. I'm simply someone who invested fairly early. Always, of course, everyone always wished they invested earlier with Oj, but I invested fairly early. Saw a lot of gains, and then continually kept bugging the dev team, like, hey, I have this idea, I have this idea, I have this idea. And then eventually I said, like, listen, I'd like to implement some of these things. So before long, they sort of were like, okay, well, let's put him on a team, see what he can do. Since then, I've been working on the business development team. I'm mostly working on partnership creation, working with the exchanges, working with sponsorships, a whole lot of that different types of stuff. As of late, I've been working with Jay Rocco a little bit more in terms of some of the marketing aspects. But yeah, I mean, I think you'll find a lot of the devs are sort of Swiss Army devs in terms of just jumping in wherever they're needed, especially like Jay Rocco's been doing recently. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick around with Hoj for quite a long time. I'll be here until they kick me out. So I'm definitely excited to be here. I'm really excited for this upcoming year for Hoj. There's so much happening and so much going on behind the scenes and stuff we're really excited to share with you. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Cool. Any other questions?
What's your background? What is your background?
Law and a little bit of project management.
Thank you. That's all I have.
There you go. Anybody else?
I just wanted to comment on what Presta said regarding wallet holders. I really appreciate how he was kind of looking into like the analytics and trying to understand that, hey, maybe some of these wallet holders people bought and left, and maybe it's just an abandoned wallet. But at least from a user experience perspective, flexing those numbers is a great thing to do because let's play devil's advocate. Binance Smart Chain, you can get pennies, a small amount of something with a fraction of a wallet compared to what someone is holding on a DeFi wallet with Hoj. And so when people see those numbers, we're not deceiving anyone. They're wallet holders. Maybe people left at one point, or they have a very small amount of Hoj. But the social proof that it has showing those numbers, there's no deception in it. And I think it would actually be to our detriment if we changed like Hoj.report to show like 24 hours. There's power in numbers and there's power in social proof to be shown. And people on BSC are going to have tiny wallets. And so they're playing the flip side of that coin with tiny, tiny wallets and boosting their numbers and saying, hey, look, we have these huge numbers, but compared to us. So just something to think of.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, this is a very important aspect. I wouldn't like, I don't know about sketchy. I think it just needs education. That's really what it is. That's why I threw the offer out. You are smart as hell. You are like business intelligence and L&D in one. It is insane. I would love to talk to you more about it because this is exactly what we need to be doing. as Crypto 101, like, hey, tokenomics is real. It's starting to gain traction. People are realizing this is a bigger thing than what Bitcoin when it first came out. It really is. It's a new ball game. We have to teach a lot of people how to do it. If you want to talk more, hit me up. We can help the entire community together. That's what this is all about.
That is correct.
That is good.
Well,
Speaking of elevator pitches, oh, hey, I was just going to say, speaking of elevator pitches, I know J Rocco actually just worked on one recently, and I'll post it here in the chat. It is a quick intro to Hoj, it's tokenomics and why invest. Let me just post that in the chat real quick. And this is something I think is a pretty good elevator pitch.
Awesome. Thanks for posting that. Well, speaking of games, I know a couple weeks ago I told you guys that I was making a game for Hoj. I actually completed it, and it's going on the App Store and Play Store this week. Awesome. What's it called? I was gonna call it Run Hoj Run, but if you guys have better names, let's hear it.
That's actually pretty funny. Is that a pun on the rap song Run Hose Run?
No, I just kind of picked out a name and went with it. But if you guys have any better ideas, just you can message me or let me know. I'm just about done with it, but I can edit whatever. Sounds good. So we have a couple more questions left, and then we can let you all jump back to the normal chat. Any other questions for you guys?
Excuse me, I didn't mean to speak over Andrea. Were you going to make a comment in regards to what was just said in regards to the elevator pitch?
I only said that it was a perfect way to put what we are trying to build, an ecosystem. We want to create the project that has attached to it a coin. This is what we are working on at the moment. So that elevator pitch was a perfect expression of our thoughts. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. I personally wouldn't call the merch crap. I just bought one of those rings, by the way. But either way, I agree 100%, Presta, if you're listening, and you are a genius, my friend. I just wanted to collaborate on that with you.
J Rizzo, you want me to put you in the Data Maniacs room, J Rizzo?
I mean, at this point, I would love to just to see, you know, the development of that in itself, but certainly yes, please. Yes.
Didn't mean to interrupt, but if anyone is interested in doing some big Hoj analytics, I'll put you in the Data Maniacs room. Just hit my DMs, Hoj Historian.
Data Maniacs room. So we can take one or two more questions left. Who's got a question?
Jay Rocker, I got.
Okay.
So we've been talking about governance on the Hoj Nation forum. Could you share your own personal stance on how we should move forward with governance? And can you also share any opinion that you might have on the suggestions of governance that are already up on the forum?
Sure. So Hojman posted a question last week, and it basically said, how do we view governance for what we want to do? And so the question then became, is it based on the wallet holders? The bigger the wallet, the more power you have in voting. Or is it based off of just one wallet per person, KYC, that person gets to vote, highest to 50% wins, 50 plus one. And then it came into another idea that maybe we do, the Senate would represent maybe the highest wallet holders, and then the House of Representatives would be like us, regular people, just verified. And so there's a pretty good balance of both feedback on there. Personally, I think I'm more in favor of the KYC, one wallet holder, one vote. And I think that's probably the most fair. But I'm open. It's a community decision, and the community, ultimately, you guys get to choose. So put your vote on there and see what you think. There's benefits to each. But personally, I've always been the thing of, we all get a vote, we all get a say. At the end of the day, if I voted no or voted yes, at least I got to vote, and I'm happy with our decisions going forward.
Thanks for speaking about that. My personal stance is also that I think that one wallet equals one vote, but I also think that we should think about the KYC. My personal thoughts on that is that anybody who has a PhD, I think, should hold some extra weighting. I was just wondering what you thought about that, Jay Rocco, and anybody else who has thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think extra credentialing is nice, but it ultimately doesn't really apply to a lot of things we do in life. When you look at Bill Gates, he didn't have a PhD. You look at some of the dumbest people I know have college degrees, and some of the smartest people I know that do not have it. That doesn't equal always the same thing. Correlation is not causation, but I've always.
But I'm pretty sure that there will be forms of organizing. So if people group within sort of committees, the ones that can, I believe leadership is not about PhD. I don't want to sound bad, but there would be, leadership is about empowering people to do the best that they can do. So if someone with PhD will become a leader of a community, let's say we will have an art community, and we will have some people that would lead that art community. They can be people with PhD, or they can be people that are very creative artists, or people that are art dealers. And so that's the very important thing in coordinating teams and projects. And in terms of voting, the voting should be related to have a wallet tied to a person that has KYC to vote on those projects, regardless of having a PhD or not. Because the people that will contribute will stand out if they want to make something.
If I interrupt?
You may, of course you may.
So I was just thinking that perhaps there's two separate issues here. We're thinking about ideas and, vision that might come from the community, and whether one wallet might equal one vote, right? And then there's this, I agree with you that I think that that is quite appropriate. And then there's a separate issue of who leads. I think that you're completely correct that the people that have, academic integrity, but then also their solid creative integrity, I think, should be the people that step up to lead. And I think that it would be nice if we could value both of those things. But in terms of verification of leadership, I think that we should perhaps accept verification of leadership from people that are, these content creators who don't have an academic background, but then perhaps also in order to balance that, I suggested on the Hoj Nation forum that we would have some kind of tri-leadership, in the sense that maybe we would have somebody with an academic background, somebody without an academic background, and then perhaps somebody who is impartial to the, how would I say it, to the department, as it were, or the portfolio.
I think you will be able to run your idea on a thread on there and get people, if you create a poll on how you would see things happening and how you would like to implement something, to get
Yeah,
people around you and do that and see if your idea is promoted to the stage of getting enough people around it so that it can be taken further. This is what I would do if it was me. If I have an idea, I would put it out there and see how many people do I gather around this idea that I have and I believe it's brilliant, and how can I make it happen with the people there. And if I were you, I would do that, because this is the purpose of this project. If one has a brilliant idea and you want to make it happen, to work for it and make it happen so that we all benefit from that.
Thank you, Andrea.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Just say thanks, J. Rocco, as well, for answering. I appreciate your answer.
Yeah, no problem.
You're
Glad I could.
welcome.
What's going down here? What's the topic? What we got?
Well, it's just a basic AMA style. Someone had asked for some input, so we said let's jump in and talk and see what they want to hear, see what they want to know. If anybody's got
So, do we have any information on the 50K donation from Whitebit?
Why is it?
Do we have any input on the donations from Whitebit, you said?
Correct, my man. Do we have any transaction hash for that?
Sorry, what was the last two words you said? Transaction, what that?
Sorry, if I got cut out. I was just, do we have the transaction for the 50K of Whitebit?
Yeah, so that 50K is actually, there's several things that I think we're going to talk about with doing with it. However, whatever is done with it is going to be community decided. I think Wasso can speak to this a little bit better. Also, J-Rock, I'm not sure, you may have a little bit more up-to-date information than myself, as I think I was not in the last conversation about this. But yeah, so there is that 50K that is going to be returned by Whitebit as that was basically essentially their redistribution. What happens with that will be decided upon by the community, most likely through a vote here. So yeah.
Cool. So it's in Whitebit at the moment. Is that what we're saying?
I don't believe they've actually sent it yet. Yeah. Although I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I just wanted us to be clear as a community where the money was at the moment. So thank you, Wiser, for speaking about that. And also, I wanted to ask you kindly, we spoke in our last conversation about the marketing deal that, I think it would be appropriate to say that the Hoj company has with Big One. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I am looking forward to seeing the agreement that we have with them. But I understand that, we've spoken about this and you've said that you're heavily involved with, signing off on the agreement. And so you can't release that to the public until it's appropriate. So I was just wondering if you, how's that going? How are you as well?
Yeah, so actually a lot of the marketing stuff has been handed over to Jay Rocco, since he is our current marketing guy. So a lot of it's been handed over to Jay Rocco. Jay Rocco and I and Wasso, we are pretty involved in a ongoing conversation with Big One. This week, so it's definitely happening. It started and it will continue to happen. This week we will have an AMA in Chinese. It will be Hoja Historian and myself. And beyond that, Jay Rocco, if you want to speak to some of the other items that they're currently working on. And then to answer your last question, yes, there is that agreement, which I believe we can release now. It's just a simple marketing agreement in terms of everything that they're going to be doing. And I can probably post that onto Hoj Nation. I just need to run it by legal real quick.
Thank you.
Yeah. So marketing side. So yeah, Weiser's correct. Pretty much they're about 12 hours ahead of us. And so normally when we meet with them, it's about 2 a.m., 3 a.m. my time when we're talking. And so the things we've been talking about are the AMAs, when they're going to happen, who's the audience, who's answering the questions, asking the questions, what type of audience is it. So we're going to do 2 AMAs with them, one English and one Chinese version. They're planning to do some more articles on us. They have a couple of influencers that are also going to push us. They've started talking throughout their WeChats. One of the more exciting things is they're actually going to do a trading competition soon. So there'll be some details that they're going to release probably in the next, probably a couple of days, be my guess. But there'll be a trading competition similar to the one that happened on Whitebit. And so people are going to have the opportunity to win some free Hoj. So pretty awesome.
Sounds good. Could you speak briefly to the strategy? You know how, I think a lot of people aren't too cluey about the fact that we have a team that's going to be translating a lot of things. Could you just speak briefly to that?
So we have an internal team that translates things for us now. So basically, if we get an announcement that comes to us, we say, okay, translators, here's the announcement. Let's translate in the multitude of languages that you speak. They then translate the information and they send it out to their different social media channels. Now, Big One, on the other hand, is actually offered to translate some stuff for us as well. So they're talking about doing our white paper in, I think, 3 or 4 different languages. They talked about doing our memes in 3 or 4 different languages. They said, give us your best memes, and we're going to translate it in Korean and Chinese and Russian and all their big markets. They're going to send it out that way. And so it's kind of cool that
We've already sent them our white paper.
Yeah.
Being translated is very big. So if investors are listening, translation of the white paper, translation of the website is very, very good for us. Get hype.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing they're doing. Honestly, as far as marketing goes, it's probably the best marketing we've had from an exchange. We definitely have a lot more negotiating power as we add on to holders and to volumes and just where we've been. We have really we have a lot more experience going through those other exchanges, and as we more experience we're in.
I think also I just wanted to say, you were mentioning the we had the Whitebit competition where it was a trading competition. I was involved with Andrew and invited to the the chat with Whitebit. And you were mentioning about the time zones before, and there were briefly periods where our American colleagues were busy, and then I was there to see a message from Andrew. So if you want to invite me to a chat with the Big One guys, so far as the competition stuff goes, if they need to reach out in order to get some Hoj for the competition, then I'm just saying that I'm available and have been available in the past for Whitebit Exchange, BKX Exchange, etc.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll put that down. I know Ep's in the room as well, and I want to say he's in Romania, so he's got a nice little. He's got a closer time clock to.
Well, just there are people with more power than me so far as being able to drop money into the competitions and such. But if there's ever a need, just invite me to the chat. And also sometimes it's good if there's only usually a few people in this chat, but if someone from Big One has a question and no one's around, and then you know what I mean. Sometimes it works out nice.
Absolutely. We can probably do one more question. What do y'all think? You got one?
Sorry for stealing the floor.
You're good. Last question. Anybody?
The last piece of pizza. Anyone want it?
Hey, I'll jump in really quick. So just a question about partnerships in terms of, you guys said that we need to start generating some revenue. Completely 1000% agree. I want to start getting, or at least helping to coordinate with people to get their brands or their shops or their respective, industries as much into the mix as possible into the pot, right? I'm one of those people. Should we be slow walking some of these engagements up until the point that we start to get definitive paperwork signed, dated with business entities
or the DAO or anything like that? Or are you saying, based on what I sort of gathered in the beginning of the call, that we should sort of jump on this stuff and get this stuff going, get it cooking, and start moving on these things?
To answer that
So-
question. So it really depends where the funding's coming from, right? So if somebody's privately funding it, then just go for it. But if there's an expectation that the money that has been pooled by the company is going to be used for, these various tasks, then we need to wait for the legal framework to be put into place, right?
And it is good to wait for the legal. We want to ensure that the partnerships that we are attracting are serious ones.
Absolutely. And then
They
oh, sorry.
represent our brand in the best way, and they give us quality, and they do not disappoint the community. This is our main concern. Not only the money that comes in, that we do not get a partner that will disappoint the community. This is what we do not want to happen. So
Absolutely.
I will not have more to add. I'm sure other people will want to add, but if there is someone that has any idea with that, I'm pretty sure you can reach out to Jay Rocco and other people to make your ideas, to come with ideas forward, because anything that helps in that way is absolutely welcome. But
Great.
first of all, it's not far away, the legal entity that will allow us to sign agreements. And I want to make sure with the legal team that we sign the right agreements that benefit the community and will not disappoint.
Yeah, and
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, and just one last thing I'll finish up on is because I know that there's safeguards that have been discussed and that are either in place or being put in place to protect ourselves, give us some sort of liability protections, and then we also just want to make sure that those protections that we have either extend to to a degree to these partners, or they have something on their end that sort of extends our way. So I just want to make sure that those areas are absolutely covered.
That's correct. That's a very good point, and that's correct. That's a very good way of thinking.
So a few things. Jacob and I are documenting some of the partners we're having. So we've been doing a lot of the pre-work, right? So Wasso, myself, and Wiser have been meeting with some really awesome merchandisers. We started taking down some information. We started talking about what is going to be the cost of goods sold, what is the average point of sale, how many clicks a month do you get, how much is your volume, what's your capacity like. And so we're gathering this information so when we do sign the legal paperwork, we can start getting ready to go. On the other side, we're actually looking at other things too. So like Jacob and I have been talking about, okay, for a company to sign on with us, what do we need? Well, they need to be fully doxed. We need to know who the person is behind the business. We need to know their address, their phone number, the email address, the site they're going to be using, what they're going to be selling. We need to have some kind of backdoor channel into seeing what they're selling. And we need to make sure that all the shipment and quality is good. As you all have painfully felt the last time was we had a guy who was not selling to the quality or to the really just the quality. He wasn't shipping stuff, right? He blackballed a bunch of people. He really left a lot of people hanging. And we've had a great team that's been reimbursing people out of their own pockets. And so it's one of these things where we're stressing quality, customer service, and really that you guys get what you pay for. We don't want to send crap to you guys for $40. That's not good. We want it to be comfortable, breathable, something you want to wear.
Yeah, some of the stuff that people have gotten that from Lucas. So shout outs to Lucas. It just looks brilliant. And also shout outs to Jacob. You're talking about Jacob. Jacob's another leader within the community. So if you hear this, Jacob, I love you. Is it okay if it seems like an appropriate segue for me to ask Andrea to make a public statement, if she hasn't already, within this chat about, so we're saying that we don't want to be involved with projects that affect our image negatively, correct? So I think we should make a definitive public statement, particularly if Andrew could speak about this, about our involvement with BSC. I know we've spoken about it before, but Hoj isn't involved with any BSC tokens officially. Just I think we should make a statement about that.
Let me put it that way before I answer to your question about making a statement, as I don't know enough about. I've learned from people now, and I've asked the question why BSC is not good and why is good. Etherscan is good, and so on. So I understand that a lot of the coins that are not serious and have been rug pulls in the past have been on BSC because it's so easy to create, it's so cheap, and this is not in favor of our future development. But I am not the right person to make this statement. There are people with more knowledge than me. If you want to ask me about how I see producing income, how I see us organizing legal aspects, I can. But this is a topic that I think other people in the team will be better off answering this. I know we've spoken about it and I've been in those conversations, but I don't have enough technical knowledge to be able to make this statement.
Thank you, Andrea. I think it says volumes to your character that you assume that humble position, that you, you've shared with us what you've learned about BSC, for instance. And this is mostly what I was asking for, right? I'm sorry if I put you on the spot so far. I was asking for a legal statement. I think that it will be good for us to get marked, perhaps, to make a legal statement about that. But this is just a message that I wanted everybody to sort of understand, is that not everybody is a crypto wizard, but we can teach each other about what's happening with BSC, what's happening with Binance, and then people can make their own. When I say teach, I mean teach them about what's in front of them objectively, so that they can make their own decision about whether they want to be involved with such a project. And just to speak for myself, I'm not involved with any BSC tokens at the moment as a developer, and I get very sweaty hands if I ever do buy any tokens on BSC. So I think that the gas fees being low on BSC actually seem to contribute to the paper handsness. I don't know if anyone wants to speak about that, because it will be an interesting development when we get down the road. Hogeman has been talking about in the recent AMA that some of our holders are very keen on arbitrage and day trading, right? And this is a very interesting, how do I say, business model for us to pursue, because as a community, we've pursued getting on exchanges, in essence, to allow these people to trade Hoge, right? And I was just wondering if anybody wanted to speak about that, our involvement with exchanges, perhaps.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. And sort of just adding on to it, Andrea was talking about, I also am not the most technical person. However, I've talked with a lot of technical people about BSC. We've done technical analyses. We absolutely, especially a while ago, not so much anymore, we were hearing the community say like, oh, we want to look at BSC, we want to look at BSC. So we did. We did some technical analysis on it. We were looking at their volumes, looking at their numbers, we were looking at the track records of the different projects on BSC, and try to compare that in terms of what it might mean if we move a lot of our volume over to the Binance chain. And here's the actual answer that we came up with. There are a lot of improvements coming to Uniswap, coming to Ethereum, and it seems like BSC is potentially getting a worse and worse and worse reputation, although very good volume. So the strong assumption was that, yes, if we move over to BSC, we will see a pump. We will see a temporary pump in price. And that may make some people happy for a week, for 2 weeks, but we will also be jumping off of a very nice ship, a ship that is about to start picking up speed and going places. Jumping off the Ethereum network right as it's about to blow up is not necessarily something that we want to do. Now, there's the argument, oh, well, it's just a wrap token, we're not actually getting off. But the truth is we would be moving a tremendous amount of our volume over there. So it's something that may help in the short term, but is long term not a good strategy.
I suppose this is just what I'm getting at for people that are listening, in that what the big brains in here are thinking about is long-term strategy for Hoge, which would be to stay on the ERC20. And I am, before I said about BSC and I get sweaty, I'm not sweaty on the ERC. It's a nice hold. So I think everybody here can probably see that for what it is, hopefully. But just shout outs to the people who, you want the immediate gains and you want BSC, just head over to a different just go to Binance and do Binance stuff if that's what you want. Hoj is for ERC20. Rick Camel, thank you for your insight. Shout out to you, dude, for making the YouTube videos. Like, they're awesome. I see your YouTube video in the chat, and I'm like, this guy pumps. This guy pumps YouTube.